The shuttle descended through the swirling mists of Zeltron 5, its landing lights cutting through the alien fog. Inside, Alex adjusted the straps on his field pack, his gaze fixed on the verdant jungle visible through the shuttle's viewport. "So, you're the human specialist. They sent us a zookeeper to handle first contact with unknown species," chuckled Dr. Feln, a towering Draxian with shimmering scales, as he eyed Alex skeptically from across the aisle. Alex turned to face him, a polite smile playing on his lips. "Something like that, Dr. Feln. I specialize in xenobiology and animal behavior. Humans have a knack for understanding and bonding with other creatures. I'm here to ensure that goes smoothly." Dr. Feln snorted, his breath fogging up a nearby sensor panel. "We'll see. My experience says that when it comes to wild creatures, especially on a new planet, it's better to keep a safe distance." Beside Feln, a quieter voice piped up. Scylla, a slim, agile Yeltran whose body sparkled like the stars outside, leaned forward. "I've read about human efforts to preserve and interact with their own planet's wildlife. There's potential here. Perhaps Alex's methods could be beneficial." Dr. Feln gave Scylla a dismissive glance but said nothing. Alex nodded at her gratefully. "Thanks, Scylla. Each species does have its own quirks, but the principles of trust and respect usually hold up across the board." As the shuttle touched down with a soft thud, the pilot's voice crackled over the comm. "Welcome to Zeltron 5. Please gather your belongings and prepare for disembarkation." The team filed out, stepping onto the alien soil that squished slightly under their boots. The air was thick with the scent of wet foliage and something faintly sweet. Alex took a deep breath, taking in the chorus of unknown sounds that echoed from the dense jungle. "First task," announced Captain Ronar, the mission leader, as he consulted his datapad. "Establish a base camp. Alex, once we're set up, you'll begin your assessment of the local fauna. The sooner we know what kind of creatures we're dealing with, the better." Alex nodded, pulling a small device from his pack. "I'll start with some passive observations. If I'm lucky, I'll be introducing myself to Zeltron's wildlife by tomorrow." Dr. Feln scoffed as he unloaded his gear. "Just don't get too close, human. These creatures won't be like your pets back on Earth." Ignoring the jibe, Alex walked to the edge of the clearing, looking out into the jungle. The trees swayed slightly, as if beckoning him forward. Behind him, the rest of the team was busy setting up energy barriers and unloading equipment. Scylla approached, her gear humming softly with each movement. "Need any help with the initial surveys?" Alex smiled, pleased. "Actually, yes. I'd appreciate an extra set of eyes. The more data we collect, the better." As they set up sensors around the perimeter, Alex felt a surge of excitement. Zeltron 5 was a mystery, and he was about to unravel it. With each sensor they placed, the alien world seemed a little less hostile, a little more like a new home. "Here's to a successful mission," he said, raising an imaginary glass to Scylla, who mimicked his gesture with a laugh. "Indeed, to success, and to new friendships," she replied, her eyes twinkling with curiosity and a hint of adventure. In the aftermath of the initial skirmish, the Zaltraxian forces regrouped, stunned by the unexpected ferocity and strategic acumen of the K-91 units. From the command center aboard the flagship, Commander Jack Reynolds watched intently as the situation unfolded, the real-time images flickering across the large tactical screens. "Admiral Venn, ensure all units press their advantage. I want continuous pressure. Give them no room to recover," Jack directed, his voice firm, resonating with the urgency of the moment. "Yes, sir," Admiral Leora Venn acknowledged, quickly relaying the orders. She turned to her communications officer. "Coordinate with ground teams. Maintain aggressive patrols. We can't let the Zaltraxians establish a new defensive perimeter." On the surface, the K-91 teams, led by Sergeant Harlan Cox, moved with lethal precision. The dogs, their senses heightened by genetic enhancements and advanced tech, navigated the alien terrain as if it were familiar ground. Harlan signaled to his team, his gestures sharp. "Echo team, flank left. Bravo, hold your position. We're boxing them in." The dogs, understanding their roles with almost human-like comprehension, executed the commands flawlessly. They darted through the rugged landscape, their movements synchronized and silent, leaving the Zaltraxians disoriented and vulnerable. Back at the Galactic Council's observation post, several council members, including Councilor Threx, watched the live feeds with a mix of awe and apprehension. These humans, their tactics are unconventional. And these creatures, their dogs, they fight not just with loyalty but with intelligence, Threx muttered, his tone a mix of grudging respect and concern. Counselor Kirill, the feathered avian, added, "Their bond is their strength. It's a symbiosis we've not seen before. It gives them an edge, unpredictably so." On the battlefield, a critical moment came as one of the K-91 dogs, a robust Belgian Malinois named Chief, detected a hidden Zaltraxian artillery unit. With a subtle signal from his handler, Chief led a small team to neutralize the threat. They moved under the cover of the terrain, approaching the enemy position with stealth and speed. Within moments, the artillery was disabled, its crew overwhelmed by the sudden and silent attack. Jack watched this unfold, his confidence in the unit reaffirmed. "Document everything," he instructed his intelligence officer. "Every maneuver, every engagement. We'll need a full debrief for the Council. They need to see exactly how effective these units are." As the human forces continued to dominate, the Zaltraxians began to falter, their morale crumbling under the relentless pressure of the K-91 teams combined with the strategic offensive of the human military. Reports of their disarray and confusion filtered back to Jack, who allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. However, he remained focused, well aware that the conflict was far from over. "Keep the pressure up," he reiterated to his commanders. "This battle isn't just about territory. It's about making a statement." As the sun began to set on the alien world, the Zaltraxians, now severely weakened, retreated to their final stronghold. Jack stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at the stars. "Prepare for the last push," he said quietly to Admiral Venn, who nodded in understanding. The outcome of the next engagement would determine not just the fate of the human bid for Council membership, but potentially the respect and fear they commanded among the galaxy's varied and powerful civilizations. Jack knew the final battle of the day would be the most telling. "Tomorrow, we end this," he resolved, his gaze steely and unwavering as the galaxy watched on. The next morning, the camp was abuzz with talk of Alex's success with the quill beasts. Word had spread quickly among the team, and several members, both human and alien, were eager to learn more about his techniques. Alex decided to hold a workshop to share his insights on animal behavior and bonding principles. As the team gathered around, Alex began, "Understanding any creature starts with respect for its space and needs. Each species has unique cues and behaviors that, when recognized and respected, can lead to trust." Dr. Feln, still somewhat skeptical, crossed his arms and observed from the back. "Just be sure you're not oversimplifying these creatures' instincts," he warned. "Absolutely," Alex agreed. "It's not about control, but about coexistence. We use non-threatening body language, slow movements, and even controlled breathing to communicate peace." Sila, ever the curious observer, asked, "Could these techniques work with other species we encounter here?" "That's the goal," Alex replied. "But it requires patience and a willingness to adapt based on each creature's response." To demonstrate, Alex led the group to a nearby clearing where they had previously spotted a small herd of grazelings, timid herbivores with iridescent fur. As they approached, Alex instructed everyone to stay quiet and make themselves appear smaller by crouching. "Notice their ears and tail movements," he whispered, pointing towards the grazelings. "Ears forward and relaxed tails mean they're curious but not threatened." Using a gentle tone, Alex called softly to the creatures. One brave grazeling, intrigued by his voice, edged closer. Alex stayed still, allowing the creature to approach him on its terms. After a moment, it came close enough for Alex to gently stroke its head. The grazeling cooed softly, a sound of contentment. The team watched in awe, especially the alien members who had never seen such interactions up close. "It's all about trust," Alex explained. "We let them come to us, showing that we mean no harm." Dr. Feln stepped forward, his demeanor softer. "Perhaps there is merit to your methods, Alex. I can see the mutual respect." Encouraged by the successful demonstration, Alex spent the rest of the day teaching the team various techniques to safely interact with alien fauna. They practiced these methods under his supervision, slowly gaining confidence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the team returned to camp, buzzing with excitement and newfound respect for Zeltron 5's wildlife. Alex took a moment to debrief with Captain Ronar. "You've done well, Alex. It seems you've not only tamed the wildlife, but some of our more stubborn team members as well," Ronar joked. Alex chuckled. "It's all about finding common ground. Hopefully these skills will help us all as we continue to explore Zeltron 5. That evening, as Alex reviewed data from the day's interactions, he felt a sense of accomplishment. Not only had he introduced his team to new approaches to wildlife, but he had also bridged gaps between species, fostering a collaborative spirit that would be crucial for the remainder of their mission. As the days on Zeltron 5 passed, the team's confidence in interacting with the local wildlife grew, bolstered by Alex's successful techniques. But the planet was full of surprises, as they would soon discover. Early one morning, the camp's atmospheric sensors began to chirp urgently. Scylla, who had taken to monitoring environmental conditions, analyzed the data with a furrowed brow. "There's a massive storm approaching," she announced, pointing to the swirling patterns on her screen. Category 5, stronger than anything we've encountered so far. Alex joined her at the console, observing the rapid approach of the storm. "How long do we have?" "Less than 2 hours before it hits, and it's moving fast," Scylla replied, her voice tinged with concern. Captain Ronar called an emergency meeting. "We need to secure the camp and move to the underground shelters. This storm could be catastrophic with winds capable of uprooting these large trees." As the team scrambled to secure equipment and batten down the structures, Alex thought about the creatures they had been studying. "The wildlife will be seeking shelter too," he said to Ronar. "Our recent friends, the quillbeasts and grazelings, might be able to help guide us to safe spots if our own shelters fail." Ronar nodded, acknowledging the backup plan. "Prepare to implement that if needed. Let's hope it doesn't come to that." As the winds began to howl and the sky darkened, the team retreated to the shelters, the sounds of the storm growing increasingly ferocious. Inside, they listened as the wind screamed like a wild beast, the shelter's walls groaning under the strain. Hours into the storm, a loud crack echoed through the air, followed by a shuddering impact against the side of the shelter. "We've been breached," one of the team members shouted over the roar. Water and debris began to flood in, panic rising as quickly as the water level. Alex sprang into action. "Follow me! We can use the grazelings to find higher ground. They instinctively avoid flood areas." Leading the team outside into the raging storm was risky, but staying would have been worse. Visibility was near zero, the rain driving hard like needles against their skins. Alex called out for the grazelings, using the gentle tones he had used to calm them before. Miraculously, a group of grazelings appeared, their iridescent fur matted against the rain. They led the way, moving swiftly through the forest. The team followed close behind, Alex guiding them with shouts to be heard over the storm. After a harrowing trek, the grazelings brought them to an area of elevated ground where the trees were dense enough to provide some shelter from the wind. Exhausted but safe, the team huddled together, watching the storm rage around them. As the storm finally began to wane, the sun peeking through the dark clouds, Alex looked around at the team, all safe thanks to the trust he had built with the creatures of Zeltron 5. Dr. Feln, who had been one of the most skeptical, clapped Alex on the shoulder. "I stand corrected, Alex. Your methods saved us today." With a tired but genuine smile, Alex replied, "It was a team effort, and our animal friends came through when we needed them most." They returned to what remained of the camp, determined to rebuild. The storm had tested them, but it had also strengthened their bond, not just with each other, but with the world they had come to explore. In the aftermath of the storm, the team focused on rebuilding the camp with improved defenses against Zeltron 5's volatile weather. During their efforts, Alex and Scylla stumbled upon a hidden trail leading into a previously unexplored part of the jungle. "Look at this," Alex said, pointing at the ground where the storm had uprooted a large tree, revealing a path. The storm uncovered something. Intrigued, they decided to investigate, notifying Captain Ronar of their detour. The path wound through thick foliage and ended at the entrance to a cavern hidden behind cascading vines. The air was cool and moist, hinting at the cavern's depth. Inside, their lights illuminated walls covered in luminescent moss and crystal formations that cast eerie shadows. As they ventured deeper, the cavern opened into a large chamber. That's when they saw it, a creature straight out of local legend, known to the natives as a Zelgriff. The Zelgriff was massive. Its fur shimmered with the same bioluminescence as the moss, and it had wings that seemed to blend seamlessly into the darkness of the cavern. Its eyes glowed with a cautious intelligence as it watched them enter. "Amazing," Scylla whispered, her voice a mix of awe and fear. "It's said to be untamable, a guardian of sacred places." Alex's heart raced with excitement and caution. "Let's keep our distance but try to communicate our peaceful intent." They observed the creature from a safe distance, noting its apparent curiosity and lack of immediate aggression. Alex remembered his training and experience: slow movements, soft voice, non-threatening posture. He hummed softly, a technique he had used before to soothe nervous animals. To their astonishment, the Zelgriff responded. It took a few steps closer, its massive head tilted, listening. Alex continued to hum, gradually introducing soft words in a gentle cadence. Scylla watched, holding her breath as the creature approached Alex. With a tentative hand, he reached out. The Zelgriff hesitated, then nudged his hand with its snout. It was a moment of contact that felt like a silent agreement of trust. We need to document this, Scylla said, slowly reaching for her camera. They spent hours in the cavern, with Alex gradually interacting more with the Zelgriff. He discovered it responded positively to certain sounds and touches. By the time they needed to return to camp, the creature had allowed Alex to stroke its head and back without showing any sign of distress. This changes everything, Alex mused as they made their way back. If we can interact peacefully with a creature like the Zelgriff, think of what else is possible on this planet. Back at the camp, the team was electrified by their discovery. Even Dr. Feln couldn't hide his enthusiasm. This could represent a breakthrough in our mission. Your rapport with the Zelgriff could lead to unprecedented advancements in our understanding of the planet. Encouraged by the day's success, Alex spent the evening going over notes and planning further visits to the cavern. The Zelgriff, once a mythic beast, had become a symbol of the potential for harmony between the human explorers and the mysterious life forms of Zeltron 5. As night fell over the restored camp, Alex felt a profound connection to this alien world, hopeful about the future interactions and the secrets yet to uncover. Over the next few weeks, Alex's frequent visits to the cavern to see the Zelgriff became a routine part of the expedition. Each encounter helped deepen the understanding between them, and Alex documented every interaction, eager to share the unique bond forming with the scientific community. During one of these visits, as Alex was gently examining the Zelgriff's wing structure, Scylla entered the cavern with an urgent pace. Alex, you need to see this, she said, extending her datapad to him. The screen showed thermal images taken from a satellite, a series of strange energy fluctuations emanating from deeper within the cavern system. There's more to this place than we thought, Scylla noted, her voice tinged with excitement and concern. Intrigued by the discovery, Alex suggested they explore further into the caverns. The Zelgriff might be guarding something, or it's connected to this place in a way we don't yet understand. Equipped with additional gear, they ventured beyond the familiar chamber, guided by the Zelgriff, which seemed to understand their intent. The caverns twisted deeper, opening into an expansive underground network filled with ancient ruins and artifacts. It's like a hidden civilization down here, Alex whispered as they explored the ruins. His hand brushed against a wall, triggering a holographic display that illuminated the cavern in a soft blue light. The holograms depicted scenes of harmony between various creatures and an ancient race, possibly the original inhabitants of Zeltron 5. These people lived in peace with the creatures here. Maybe the Zelgriffs were their protectors or companions, Scylla suggested, capturing images of the holograms. Their exploration was interrupted when Dr. Feln's voice crackled through their communicators, his tone more terse than usual. Alex, Scylla, return immediately. We have an unexpected situation at camp. When they returned, they found the camp in a standoff with a delegation from the Draconian Consortium, a powerful entity known for exploiting natural resources. The leader, a stern Draconian named Vorek, demanded access to the caverns. We've detected unusual energy readings. This planet has resources we are entitled to exploit, Vorek declared, his gaze sweeping over the camp. Alex stepped forward, the Zelgriff by his side as if to emphasize his point. This planet is more than just resources to exploit. We've found evidence of a significant cultural heritage. It should be preserved. Vorek sneered, unimpressed. Sentiment does not outweigh profit, human. If you interfere, you will face consequences. The tension was palpable, as team members and the Draconian guards faced each other. Sensing the rising aggression, the Zelgriff let out a resonant sound that seemed to vibrate through the ground, calming the atmosphere slightly. Let's talk, Alex said firmly, holding Vorek's gaze. There's a lot to discuss about how we can manage this planet's resources responsibly. Reluctantly, Vorek agreed to negotiate, intrigued perhaps by the display of the Zelgriff's loyalty to Alex. As the Draconians departed temporarily, Ronar turned to Alex. Well done, but be ready. This isn't over. They'll be back, and we need a solid plan. Alex nodded, aware of the challenges ahead but bolstered by the bond he had forged with the Zelgriff. It was a bond that he hoped would help protect Zeltron 5 from those who sought only to take from it. The coming days would require careful strategy and an understanding of not just the creatures, but the people who might seek to harm their world. In the days following the encounter with the Draconian Consortium, Alex and his team worked tirelessly to prepare for what they knew would be a challenging negotiation. But first, they needed to understand more about the energy readings and the historical significance of the caverns. Using the advanced scanning equipment they'd set up at the site, Alex and Scylla uncovered evidence of an ancient technology capable of manipulating the life force of creatures, potentially explaining the Zelgriff's unusual abilities and the harmonious depictions in the holograms. "We need to ensure this technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands," Alex stated, his concern growing. "If the Draconians get hold of this, they could use it to control or alter creatures across the galaxy." The urgency of the situation prompted a clandestine meeting with Vorik and his aides. Under the pretext of discussing terms, Alex hoped to gauge their intentions and perhaps dissuade them from exploiting Zeltron 5. During the meeting, Vorik made it clear that his interest in the planet was not just in its resources, but in the potential power the ancient technology could offer. "Imagine the possibilities, human," Vorik mused. "Entire ecosystems could be reshaped at our whim. This is bigger than any petty conservation effort." Alex countered calmly. "Or it could lead to ecological disasters if used improperly. We've seen similar cases before. This planet deserves protection, not exploitation." The negotiations were tense, with neither side willing to budge. It became clear to Alex that the Draconians would not easily be dissuaded. Later that evening, as Alex discussed the day's events with the team, Dr. Feln appeared unusually restless. "We may need to consider more drastic measures," he suggested, a hint of desperation in his voice. "What do you mean?" Alex asked, sensing something amiss. Dr. Feln hesitated, then revealed that he had been in secret communication with the Draconians, believing that a partnership might be more beneficial to ensure their research could continue. "I didn't want to go behind your backs, but we need their resources and protection," he confessed. Betrayed and shocked, Alex realized the depth of their predicament. Not only did they have to contend with external threats, but now internal divisions threatened to undermine their mission. Determined to protect the planet and its secrets, Alex devised a plan. "We'll need to secure the technology. Scylla, gather our most trusted team members. We're going to move it to a new location tonight." Under the cover of darkness, Alex, Scylla, and a small team relocated the ancient technology to a hidden chamber only the Zelgriff knew about. Their operation was just in time. The next morning, Draconian troops arrived at the original site, demanding access. Vorik was furious upon finding the technology gone. "You will regret this, human," he snarled, his troops standing ready. Alex stood firm, the Zelgriff beside him, a symbol of the natural order they were fighting to preserve. "This planet is not yours to strip bare. We will defend it, and its secrets." As the Draconians withdrew to plan their next move, Alex knew that the hardest part of their mission was still ahead. But with the trust of the Zelgriff and his team's resolve, he believed they could safeguard Zeltron 5's mysteries from exploitation. The battle for the planet was just beginning, but Alex was ready to fight for its future. The standoff with the Draconian Consortium had escalated tensions to a breaking point. In the days following the relocation of the ancient technology, the camp was on high alert, expecting a confrontation at any moment. However, Alex's strategic move to hide the technology had bought them precious time to strengthen their defenses and prepare for further negotiations. Captain Ronar, with input from Alex and Scylla, decided on a new approach. "We need to involve the Galactic Council," Ronar declared during a strategy meeting. "If we can present our findings about the planet's ecological and historical significance, we might gain legal protection under interstellar conservation laws." Alex agreed, adding, "We have enough data to show that this technology and the entire ecosystem of Zeltron 5 are unique and vital to understanding biodiversity in the galaxy. It's not just about conservation, but about learning how to coexist with different forms of life." While preparations were underway to contact the Galactic Council, Alex continued to spend time in the caverns with the Zelgriff. The bond they had formed proved to be invaluable, as the creature seemed to sense the growing conflict and often led Alex to other significant sites within the caverns. Each discovery added more weight to their case for protecting the planet. Finally, the day came for a hearing with the Galactic Council. Alex, along with Captain Ronar and Scylla, presented their findings via a secure transmission from Zeltron 5. They shared images and videos of the unique wildlife, the ancient ruins, and the powerful technologies that had been integrated harmoniously with the planet's life forms. As Alex spoke about his experiences and the potential dangers of misusing the ancient technology, he could see the impact of his words on the council members. This is a chance for us to set a precedent for how we treat not only new worlds, but also the creatures we share them with, Alex concluded, his voice firm and persuasive. The council deliberated for hours. Meanwhile, Vorik and his delegation presented their counter-arguments, focusing on the economic benefits of exploiting Zeltron 5. However, the tide turned when footage of Alex interacting peacefully with the Zelgriff and other creatures was shown, illustrating the possibilities of non-exploitative research and interaction. In the end, the Galactic Council ruled in favor of designating Zeltron 5 as a protected ecological and archaeological reserve. This decision effectively barred the Draconian Consortium from accessing the planet for commercial purposes. Vorik was livid with the decision, but with the Council's ruling clear, he had no choice but to withdraw. As his forces left Zeltron 5, the tension in the camp dissipated. Celebrations broke out among the team, and even Dr. Feln apologized for his earlier betrayal, pledging to support the preservation efforts. Alex accepted his apology, knowing that maintaining unity was essential for their ongoing mission. As peace settled over Zeltron 5, Alex stood at the entrance to the caverns, the Zelgriff beside him. Looking out over the lush jungle, he felt a profound connection to this vibrant world. "This is just the beginning," Alex told Scylla, who had joined him to watch the sunset. "Now we have a chance to explore and protect this planet the right way." Scylla nodded, her eyes reflecting the colors of the fading light. "And we have you to thank for showing us how." As the stars began to appear in the sky above, Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment and hope. Zeltron 5 was safe, and their work to understand and preserve its mysteries was just getting started. With the Zelgriff at his side, Alex looked forward to a future where humans and aliens worked together to respect and protect the wonders of the galaxy.